Hello, today I'm going to be showing you how to use the Zingari Man all-purpose brush cleaner. One of my favorite parts of traditional wet shaving is getting to use a shaving brush to whip up the lather. One thing you can do to make sure your brushes are clean, ready for use if they're new, used, or you loaned it to a friend, or if you've gone about maybe 30 uses or so, some of the super fats might be building up in the brush and kind of keeping the brush knot from performing its best. Some of the symptoms of a brush knot that maybe needs cleaning is that you might notice that it doesn't really splay as wide when it's wet. And one important thing I'd like to mention is that if you have a natural hair brush, don't mess with the hair at all unless it's wet. So that's the first thing we're going to do. I have a small cup of warm water here. You can use warm or cold. I'm just going with warm today. I'm going to let the knot soak in there for a few seconds and let it soak up some water. You don't want to do anything to the natural hair brush until it's good and wet. The hair is very fragile. If you're using a synthetic hair brush, those do need cleaned too. About the same frequency, maybe every 30 uses or so. Doesn't really matter if you get it wet before you touch it. However, I do recommend you get your brush good and wet before you start using this brush cleaner. This product comes in a brush-friendly wide tub to allow you to load the brush with the cleaner soap. This has a very nice tangerine smell to it. And we'll go ahead and just kind of flick some of the water out of the brush so that the tips are nice and wet, making them safe to yield a lather. And just swirl it around in here and get the hair fully saturated with soap. I shook a little too much water out of my brush, so I'm going to go ahead and dip the tips into my little cup of water there and continue to build a lather just like this. I'm starting to get really nice suds here. It smells great. Once I have the knot, I have a pretty sizable amount of soap in it. You can see that took about 45 seconds. I then transfer over to a bowl. You can use any bowl. You could use your hand. You can use the base of your sink. I'm going to just use a bowl because it allows me to raise it up so you can see. And basically what I'm doing now is just almost building a lather with the brush cleaning soap and trying to get as much of the suds deep into the knot as possible while still using just about the same amount of force as I would while building a lather in a bowl as to not damage the tips. It's starting to smell really nice in my bathroom with this nice fresh citrus scent of this brush cleaner. If this was a brand new badger knot, you might start to see some brown juices, whether that's from the manufacturing process or natural animal tannins, I don't know. But that's something I've observed from new badger knots, and it's definitely something you want to get out. So if this were a brand new badger knot, I'd probably do this whole process maybe 3 or 4 times until that brown juice stops coming out. We have a saying in surgery, the solution to pollution is dilution. And if something's infected or contaminated, you continuously rinse it until that contaminant gets out. And I think that same theory applies here, especially with a new badger knot. Now I'm just rinsing the brush out. And depending on how dirty your brush smells or how much brown juice came out of it, I recommend doing this process over and over until that brown juice stops. If it's a brand new brush, probably takes 3 or 4 times. If you're doing your every 30-day cleaning, just once I think is plenty. It's been a while since I've cleaned this brush. You can tell already the knot is opening up more. So it helps get some of that super fats from the soap out of the bristles that can kind of clog the natural hair of the bristles. And this can happen with synthetic knots too. And this is good to use now. So thank you for joining me. This is the Zingari Man all-purpose brush cleaner tutorial. It's a great product. It's very convenient that it comes in a brush-friendly tub It makes it really easy to load the soap, and it is a pleasure to use. Your brushes will thank you, and I thank you. Thanks for joining me. See ya. Bye.